All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our Microsoft Monthly Update for October. I'm excited to get us kicked off today. Let's go through our table of contents. We're going to breeze through some introductions so you know who you are hearing from today. You're going to hear some program updates. Would it be a Microsoft Monthly Update without talking Copilot? We'll make sure we got that covered. And I'm really excited to have Pax8 Marketplace. We're going to have a couple highlights and updates for you and what is all happening. And last but not least, we have a special vendor, VoIP, joining us today. So you're going to hear from George later on. But for today, if I've not had the pleasure of meeting you, my name is Kristen Fehrenbach. I'm the Senior Director of Microsoft Go-to-Market here at Pax8. You're going to hear from Ashley Moretti, Vandit Patel, Urvashi and Mufadal as well. So we're going to get a lot of Pax8 coverage this morning. And as mentioned, you're going to have George from VoIP. So we're super excited about it. But as always, there's a lot of program updates. So let's go ahead and dive right in with Ashley. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Kristen. Thank you. I'm just trying to get my screen share going. Okay, I think we're good. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our October version of the Microsoft Monthly Update. If you are a first-timer here, Ashley Moretti, Senior Director of Microsoft Programs here on our corporate team. And if you are somebody who joins us frequently, welcome back and thanks for making time for us this morning. As always, program updates can be a quite detail-oriented section of this webinar, so feel free to screenshot the slides if you can't get the notes down fast enough, but always know that this webinar is provided to you on our YouTube channel and also can access it in Academy after we wrap. So just want to make sure enjoy the content, listen to the content, don't feel stressed out and trying to capture all the content because I do know that this is a very detail-oriented section. But if you are a returning attendee, my section this month is not as long as it normally is. So hopefully a little bit of a break for you guys and we can give more time to Copilot in the marketplace and be VoIP this month and kind of let everybody else do their thing. So we're going to get started. Oh, hold on. Perfect. All right, so first things first that I want to talk about today is just around the securing the partner ecosystem announcements that Microsoft has been making. So the first one around MFA is not a new topic for this group. Hopefully you've seen this before, you've read about it in our newsletter or joined a previous webinar or seen the Microsoft announcements. It's still very important. So around multi-factor authentication, Microsoft in September made it a policy that partners must have MFA enabled for all administrative users on the CSP tenant to be able to qualify or review a fraudulent activity. So if something happens to the tenant and fraudulent activity or charges are incurred, we know that hackers and threats get into the tenant sometime. In order for Microsoft to review those cases, they are enforcing that MFA has to be enabled on those tenants. So if you don't have MFA enabled, this is the first and foremost reason why you should have MFA, because you want to protect your ecosystems that you have and make sure that you're having one of the best security practices when it comes to protecting your environment. The second one was a recent enforcement. It was previously July, but Microsoft did extend that to October of this year. And when accessing the Azure Marketplace, all users must have MFA enabled. And if you do need an exception around this, you can apply for one with Microsoft. We know that sometimes you use third-party integrations that don't allow for MFA, but we really should be considering MFA, especially when it comes into the Azure portal. That's where we see the most partners have malicious activity and incur quite a bit of costs that they weren't expecting. The second piece of the securing the partner ecosystem topic is the removal of unused Azure subscriptions. So starting in just a month from now, if you have not used an Azure subscription in more than 12 months, there's been no activity on the customer Azure plan, Microsoft is going to block these subscriptions from incurring usage and activity on them. And the reason for that is, again, they're stagnant, they've been stale, and so we want to be able to protect all customers and all environments so we don't get fraudulent activity. And so again, if you haven't used an Azure plan subscription in more than 12 months, Microsoft will block accessing the Azure plan and putting activity on it. And then 90 days after the block happens, the subscription will actually be deleted from Partner Center. So if you have any questions, please let us know. We'll drop some resources in the chat for you, and they'll be made available after this webinar. But again, just want to start out with a really important topic, which is security, and make sure that you understand what enforcements Microsoft is taking when it comes to the partner ecosystem. Moving on, so on October 1st, Microsoft launched their new FY25 fiscal year for incentives and rebates. So this is one quarter past their launch of their fiscal year. And just want to make partners aware that if you are earning incentives and rebates, some of the changes that came as of October 1st. So anything that's highlighted in this bluish green color is everything that's changed. So again, want to make sure that you are aware of the changes, because we know that earning on the back end is something that's very important to businesses that qualify, and we don't want you to be shocked when you see maybe an increase or a decrease in earnings. And so again, this all launched on October 1st, and you can download the entire Microsoft PDF guide on incentives and rebates for indirect resellers from their operations gallery. We also can link it here as well as part of the resources. But again, we do see some new changes, like core modern work and security is at 3.75. That should say percent. Sorry there. And then there's some global product strategic accelerators for M365, BP, and E3. That 5% versus 6% just depends on what market you're in. We have a product accelerator for some Dynamics products, etc. And then you also see one down there for Copilot. So just want to make sure that you're aware of some potential earning opportunities or changes that are coming that went into effect on October 1st. All right, so again, not a new topic, but one that just went into effect. So want to make sure again that all you partners are aware. So October of last year, Microsoft announced that they were going to be separating Teams from the Office and M365 enterprise SKUs, meaning that they would no longer allow the sale of the enterprise SKUs with Teams included. So you'd have to purchase Teams as an add-on. That went into effect for the European region October 1st, and then April 1st of 2024 of this year, that went into effect globally. And on October 1st, which was just a few days ago, Microsoft end of saled the enterprise suites that include Teams. And so the difference here, right, between the announcement and the enforcement is that Microsoft knew that there were business opportunities that were in the works, right, and they didn't really give a runway on this, so they allowed exceptions for certain sales, right, to go through that included Teams. But now as of October 1st, nobody is granted an exception, and everybody who purchases the enterprise version of the Microsoft and Office 365 suites will have to purchase Teams separately. And the reason we want to call this out is there is a tad bit of a price increase when you bundle both of them together versus the price that it was before when it was included. So we don't want you to be shocked by this, especially if you're working on a new opportunity with an end customer. We want you to be aware of the changes in licensing that Microsoft has announced. Now, if you have an existing subscription that has an enterprise version of Microsoft or Office 365 that includes Teams, your renewals will still function as normal and you'll still have the bundled version. And so that will not change as of now. So you will not have any impact to your licensing. This is just for new orders. And then again, the business, frontline, nonprofit, education, and government SKUs are not impacted. So this is like your business, for business, that would be like your business standard, business premium, frontline are the F SKUs, nonprofit, obviously, are the nonprofit versions, same with EDU and government. So again, just want to make sure you're aware that if you're purchasing Teams on the enterprise level, which is the Office 365 E1, E3, E5, and same with the M365 E3, E5, Teams will no longer be included. All right, also on October 1st, there was a Dynamics price increase. This went globally, even though we have the USD prices here. Obviously, if I were to sit here and share all of the price increases for every region, we would have close to, I think, 19 different slides. So this is the USD price increase. The price increases globally were 10 to 14% from the local currency. So just want to make sure that you're aware of that. And we do have the official pricing for all products, for all currencies and regions in our platform today. So if you're curious around a specific product and a price increase, you can go into our marketplace and check for the finalized pricing. This went into effect for brand new purchases. So anything that is a existing subscription will continue to be price locked on New Commerce Experience until the renewal. And once the renewal hits, then you will see the price increase. So be mindful that, a lot of these subscriptions are 12-month subscriptions, so you're price locked, and you may not see a price increase if you're selling these products until maybe 3, 5, 7, 10 months from now, depending on when you engage in that New Commerce Experience contract. So it's good just to go in, and if you're selling these and you have an in-flight subscription, going and making note of their renewal dates, because when the renewal date does hit, you will then be prompted with a price increase and in addition to any new subscription that is purchased. All right, this is just a friendly reminder and a good resource for partners to have if you're not familiar with it. So Microsoft Virtual Training Days are free training days that Microsoft offers, where you or anybody in your company can register and then attend the virtual event. The virtual events are free, and they have a ton of different tracks depending on what kind of certification you or an employee of yours is interested in seeking. And then often when you complete a virtual training day, you will be given a discounted voucher to go and take your certification. So again, I just want to make sure that partners are aware of this. There are some cloud certification weeks coming up. So if you click on aka.ms/partner/cert week, you'll actually be able to find the Azure, Modern Work, Business Applications, and Security certification weeks, which are going to be basically not every, but a majority of the skilling tracks will be made available in that specific week. So it's really nice. You can get your entire office to go, and they can be in different tracks versus when you're just on a virtual training day, it just depends on what certification is being provided that day or that week. But again, you can see here that they're in a bunch of different languages. There are a bunch of different topics and categories. And then the third little screenshot here is we're going to talk about Copilot in just a minute. And so if you're wanting more training on Copilot, or you want to maybe just learn more about Copilot and deepen your knowledge, but maybe not ready to sell it, preparing your organization for Microsoft 365 Copilot is a session that's coming up here in a couple of weeks. And you'll just want to make sure that you're aware, right? These are great potential training offerings that you can take advantage of in addition to what Pax8 provides you. And then I'm going to leave the program updates with this last topic. This is the most important topic we have here. And if there's any one slide that you pay attention to this week, I want to make sure it's this one. Microsoft has been doing a lot of data validation checks in Microsoft Partner Center for partner enrollment. And especially if you make a change in Partner Center to your legal business information, Microsoft will then trigger a verification process for validation. And failure to complete the verification process and become validated again with Microsoft within the time frame, which is typically 30 days, can result in a suspension of your Microsoft partnership and potential offboarding from the Microsoft Partner Program. So it's very important that you're checking as a global admin your Partner Center on a regular basis, making sure that you have a green check mark and you don't have a red X when it comes to your partner status, because again, we want to make sure that all of you are able to be continue to be Microsoft partners. And we do understand that sometimes there is a need to update your business information. If you do see that your account has been flagged, so you have that red X and you don't have that green check mark, please contact Pax8 support so we can walk you through what you need to do to start the validation process if you need support. But remember, if you do not complete the validation within 30 days, you can't be suspended from the Microsoft program. And with that, let's turn it over to a really exciting topic. I think we're going to talk about Copilot next. And so I'm going to hand it off.
Thanks, Ashley. Just getting my screen set up.
No worries. I saw you over there trying to get the Teams is being a little laggy on the back end this morning, but perfect. Well, thanks, Bandit, and I'll hand it over to
Of course. Thank you, Ashley. And just want to follow up on what Ashley was saying about training days. I absolutely love training days, especially when they give the discounted certs. And to add on Copilot with training days, they do have some generative AI fundamental courses and certs as well out there. So if you are interested in just getting in at that ground level with Copilot, those are some great fundamentals to get started with. But jumping right into Copilot for M365, this month we are touching on some of the new Wave 2 updates that Microsoft had at their recent announcement, and then just going into some of the new enablement offerings and programs that we have running for Copilot here at Pax8. So right off the bat, just want to jump into the Wave 2 announcements. The first one I want to talk about is Copilot Pages, because this is a brand new Copilot feature, and this one was one of my personal favorite ones. So for anybody who works in Copilot, you know that it's very back and forth between yourself and Copilot. Well, now with Pages, it adds an interactive layer on top of that that allows you to collaborate with other peers inside of your organization. So for people who like to draft a lot of things inside of Copilot, if you're creating business plans or anything really, you can copy that over from the Copilot chat into this new page view and then share it out with your team members like it's showing right here in this demo. Once it's shared out, your teammates are then able to edit right there in that Copilot page. You're able to see those edits real time. And it's just a collaborative way to work in that AI space, moving away from that one-to-one between you and Copilot itself. So really excited for this feature to come. I believe it's entering public preview later this year. So keep an eye out for that. And as we get more updates on the release of Pages and the Pages feature, we'll be sure to share it. I wanted to start there because there's also a huge slew of enhancements coming into Copilot in Microsoft 365 applications. Two of the biggest ones that they made were for Copilot in Excel and Copilot in PowerPoint. Really cool with Copilot and Excel, they're partnering really closely with Python here, which then allows you to leverage Python libraries and that Python level of code to be able to create, to be able to do complex analysis right there inside of Excel, just through a basic chat with Copilot, right? You don't have to be a Python expert, but if you're able to chat with Copilot and really explain what you need, that's where Copilot will then work with Python to then give you that complex analysis, whether it's forecasting, data formulas, and optimization across your entire spreadsheet. With Copilot, this one also one of my personal favorites for out of this announcement is just the narrative builder and brand manager. All of this is really fancy way of saying you can now put in your organization's brand standards inside of PowerPoint. This is really powerful for anybody who builds presentations on a regular basis. You know how much of a pain it can be to start from a net new PowerPoint, whether it's just working from a blank document, or even if you're using Copilot to start a PowerPoint, it doesn't always have that brand style that you know that your organization might want. Well, with this narrative builder and the brand manager itself, now you have access to all of that inside of PowerPoint natively with Copilot. So now if you're prompting Copilot to create a presentation, it can pull directly from not only just brand standards in terms of the template, but also in terms of just overall design standards and language being used throughout the PowerPoint. Couple smaller updates across the Microsoft 365 suite. For Copilot and Outlook, this one's really cool, prioritizing my inbox. This is a way for Copilot now to filter through your email messages inside of your inbox. And in each email that is prioritized, Copilot will give you an automatic summary of why it was prioritized and the top insights from that email. So just a streamlined way of going through your inbox and hitting that inbox 0 each day of the week. Copilot and Word, they're just broadening up how much you can use inside of Copilot for Word. So if you've used Copilot for Word, you know that you can leverage web, work data, Office files, you can reference all of that in Copilot for Word. Now they're also adding integration with your emails and meetings. So this is really nice if you're someone who's building agendas for a call, or if you're building out a recap, or if you're taking the notes. Now, if you're starting in Copilot for Word, you can easily reference back to those meetings, those emails, and it can be able to source information from there. So you have this full holistic view in your document. And then just lastly, Copilot for OneDrive. This is really more around the enhancement of advanced search and enhancing the speed and accuracy of retrieval of data in OneDrive. But Copilot and OneDrive, really cool. File comparisons. This one's really nifty if you're someone who has multiple versions of a document that you save just as backups, or you're just working from different copies. Copilot can now quickly analyze those and highlight the changes and differences across each one of those documents, so you can see at a quick glance what the differences are. And then also summarization of content inside of your OneDrive, and just being able to find that specific information in your OneDrive files when you need it. So again, just really enhancing the speed and accuracy of retrieval in your OneDrive and as you're searching for documents. Next up is Copilot agents. This one's just a little bit more niche, but Microsoft is making it a lot easier to build agents inside of Copilot through Copilot Studios. And they're also enhancing the capabilities. So now that the agents that you build inside of Copilot agents, they have the ability to send emails, they can update records, things in SharePoint, things that are connected to Microsoft, as well as create support tickets as well. So just adding some features to this Copilot agent, but then also streamlining the way that you can build and deploy your agents for your clients. So I know I said a lot about the new updates. Where can you learn more? How can you learn more? Well, first thing I want to mention is we do have our Copilot growth track that is live and in Academy. So really cool. I know depending, and if you did register, if you haven't, you may have missed the Kickstart in session 1, but not to worry, those are going to be recorded and posted on Academy, but you do still have time to jump in for that session 2 and 3. And again, this is really foundational, really building that Copilot knowledge. And again, like I said, once these sessions are concluded live, the recordings will be posted on Pax8 Academy. I'll get the link as soon as I'm done presenting here. But that's just one layer of training that we're providing. If you keep an eye on this Academy page, you're going to see us expand these offerings and add more trainings consistently. And Kristen will touch on it a little later when she goes through some of our enablement that's coming up. But we are introducing some new enablement sessions that touch on Copilot in the Office application. So as those changes are formally released that I just went through a few of, we'll be seeing those in our enablement sessions as well. So we have all the new updates. We have a full slew of enablement coming out to help you get trained and ready. Now, how can you monetize it? How can you capitalize on the opportunity? Just want to bring back up the Copilot Rewards program. This is really cool because one, from Pax8, we're offering a partner rebate of 1 month free anytime you sell a qualifying Copilot license. But you can also layer that on top of Microsoft's current promotion that's running, where you can receive a 15% discount on the Copilot pricing for any order that's above that 10-seat minimum. So you can layer both of those together to get some really nice incentives there. But also with Pax8, we're helping you guys out with how to leverage your own professional services offering. So inside of that Academy page that I mentioned where the growth track lives, we're also adding a whole slew of partner resources. So resources for you to be able to promote your professional services, to be able to showcase what exactly is included and the power of that as well. So all of that is live on Academy. The rebates, the Pax8 partner rebate, you do have to register for, and we do have a specific form for that. So I'll drop that form fill in the chat here in just a second. And then just wanted to leave up this FAQ for the rewards program, just because I know there might be a few questions here, but just going through a couple of the top things. Again, if you are interested in the Pax8 rebate, you do have to opt in, and we do have the opt-in form for that for all of our North American and EMEA partners. Rebates are good from beginning of September and now all the way up until the end of December. So, up until the end of December or until we've exhausted all the funding for those promos. So all of that's good until the end of the year, either the date or the funding itself. So take advantage of that while you can, especially if you have a few deals that you're looking to close before the year's out, and just a few resources on the 15% promotion, because I know that comes direct from Microsoft, and Microsoft may have their own T's and C's there. So we do have their FAQ readiness guide and their getting started offer. But I know I just went through a whole chunk of information, so I'll pause for just a second to see if there are any questions. If not, no worries, I'll still be hanging out and I can answer some questions in the chat.
Awesome. Awesome. I think we are good to go. I did go ahead and I posted the links so that way people can get registered. Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, if there's no questions right now, like I said, I'll be here in the chat. So if there are any questions, just let me know. I'm happy to answer them in the chat. But I'm going to pass it off to Urvashi and Mufadal to actually talk about our Pax8 marketplace. Urvashi, pass over to you to introduce yourself.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Urvashi, Product Marketing Manager here at Pax8. I'm here to give you the inside scoop on everything happening within the Pax8 marketplace. The Pax8 Marketplace is our all-in-one platform where MSPs can discover, buy, and manage cloud products effortlessly. Our goal through this segment, in case you missed last month, is to bring you into that journey of our innovative products. We're constantly enhancing it to provide the best tools for our partners, and today we're diving into one of its most powerful features. I am so thrilled to be joined by Mufadal, the Senior Product Manager of Opportunity Explorer, a robust feature designed to help our partners uncover new sales opportunities with ease. Mufadal, welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, glad to be here today. My name is Mufadal. I am the product manager of our Opportunity Explorer feature. Very thankful to have the opportunity this last year to lead development on this feature with a top-notch design, research, and development team.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of Opportunity Explorer specifically, let's kick things off with a little get to know you chat. Tell us a bit about yourself, Mufadal. How did you end up here in the world of product management?
Yeah, so I think the journey probably started after undergrad, and I went into consulting after that. So the initial skill sets that I built out were data and analytics and analyzing data. And from there I said, hey, if I'm kind of helping these different companies to grow, maybe I could try to do some of this myself. And so went the entrepreneurial route pretty quickly. this being kind of the 2000s, tech was pretty big. And so I said, well, maybe the place to start would be in the tech world. And so I started building out a digital company focused on kind of providing architectural outsourcing services. That quickly turned into other tech ventures in kind of the analytics space. And then I said, hey, well, if I enjoy kind of building out digital products on the side, maybe I could do this full time as well. And so apply for a product management job, and a couple PM jobs later, I'm here at Pax8 now.
Incredible. It's always fascinating to hear about the paths that lead us to product management. I myself have been obsessed with the product lifecycle throughout my career, so joining forces here at Pax8 has been so exciting. So quick industry question for you before we dive into Opportunity Explorer. What are some product trends that are interesting to you at the moment?
Product trends, yeah. So I would say data and analytics has always been kind of where my heart is. And so one of the initial things that I realized was super powerful and valuable was this idea of 360 customer profiles and personalization. So at some point you saw a lot of these companies trying to build out on the marketing side, these 360 customer profiles, really understand their customers, put all this data into CDP, and then leverage all that data to personalize your online ads, personalize the website experience, personalize emails that you're going to be getting. And I thought this was kind of really amazing. And I was kind of firsthand as part of this in one of the companies I was part of. Since then, I think one of the newest trend, which I think is going to be amazing, and you just heard all about Copilot, but is the Gen AI stuff. The ability for Gen AI to come in and 1.5x, 2x productivity for all different workers, I think is going to be amazing. It's something we should all be jumping on. For sure, Opportunity Explorer has been using some of that AI power as well. But I think that what we're going to see in that Gen AI space is going to be amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to get a sneak peek of Opportunity Explorer and jump into the AI components of that. But that's such a great point. I think the future and value of AI is limitless. So being part of that journey must be super exciting for you. Speaking of value, let's talk now about Opportunity Explorer itself. What was the driving force behind creating this feature, and how did it kind of come to be?
Yeah, so the product team, our leadership is always talking to MSPs. And I think what we realized at some point, maybe in the last year and a half, was that we really needed to kind of rebuild the platform to focus on MSP and some of the pain points that we're having. And so Opportunity Explorer wasn't like the end goal in itself. I think what was the end goal was this new marketplace experience platform that included features like storefronts, quoting, Solution Builder, and others. And Opportunity Explorer was one of these features that we wanted to build. Being a marketplace for MSPs, we have tons of software that you can buy. And I think if you just go through our catalog, it can be inundating. And Opportunity Explorer is really to kind of cut through that noise. Take in data points for each of your customers and yourself and help you identify what are the right products that I should be purchasing and implementing and scaling up for each of my clients. And so that's kind of what the goal has been overall and kind of how we got here. Lots of customer research, this push to kind of re-platform. Yeah, that's been the journey.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I love what you said there. So let's kind of get into that a little bit more. What is the overall strategic vision for the product? Is it like exclusively a recommendation engine? Is it more? And what problems is it solving for our partners?
The crux of it, I would say, is definitely a recommendation engine, right? So it's cutting through the noise of our catalog and really helping you identify for yourself as an MSP, but then also for each of your individual clients, what products you should be buying. And we have 35,000 plus partners that we can leverage data from, and we have 2,000 employees that we can kind of leverage knowledge from to kind of bring that insight and power this engine for you. But besides just a pure recommendation engine, what we're also offering, I think, is two other things. The first is kind of this idea of analytics and insight. We know that analytics and insight is what's going to help you figure out what recommendations you need. And then once we make a recommendation, it's going to help you understand and validate that recommendation. So bringing that analytics and insight is going to be definitely a big part of it. And the second thing is strategic planning. So this idea of, hey, where do you know where each of your clients want to be in, say, 2, 3, 4 years? We want to be able to help guide that process for you. And so you kind of tell us these clients need to be in this space. Potentially this client really needs to be best in class in AI. This client really wants to do managed services in the cloud or for marketing or whatever it is. We'll take that information and then help guide you from a strategic planning aspect to figure out what products you should be implementing for these clients.
Awesome. What a game changer. That seems like just such an exciting kind of path to go down for this product specifically. So what went into designing it? I imagine there was a ton of collaboration and research involved given the extent of the product. Walk us through that journey a little bit.
Yeah, so there was definitely lots of MSP research, talking to our customers, but then also talking to our reps. I mean, a lot of our account managers, our salespeople, our sales teams had done a lot of this work every day for clients. And so we needed to kind of pick their brain, really understand that knowledge base. We also have lots of people internally that are experts in these different products and areas of the business. And so we need to kind of connect with them to kind of bring those recommendations together and to kind of figure out, well, what things make sense for what MSPs and what end users. And so we took that knowledge, and that's kind of where we started. And then we started working with our top-notch design team. So we had an amazing design team that we were able to bring in that leveraged our research team as well to kind of talk with MSPs, but then kind of start designing out what would this recommendation engine type product look like for us in this overall new marketplace experience shell.
Amazing. Yes, I mean, as a product marketer, nothing makes me more excited than understanding our users and the extensive research that goes into designing these products. So thanks so much for the insight there. So I heard you bring up AI a couple of times, and anytime we talk about AI, we should also be talking about data and security. Can you pull back the curtain a little bit and help us understand how these recommendations are being made?
Yeah. So it's definitely been an iterative process. I would say there are 4 areas that we are using to generate recommendations. The first is this business knowledge that I talked about. The second is AI and adding AI as a layer on top of that business knowledge. The third, I would say, is the strategic planning piece. So you kind of telling us, hey, here are the different tracks that I want my different customers to be on. We want to take that knowledge and then be able to implement that and turn that into recommendations. And the fourth area is our signals. And so generally, when you're browsing the app, you're adding a product to a storefront, you're creating a quote for a customer, you are adding a product to the cart, you're giving us signals in terms of, hey, this is the interest that I have in certain products or certain categories for various customers. We want to take those signals as well and then leverage that inclusively with all these other 3 areas to kind of really give you the right recommendation for the right clients.
Great, so fascinating. All right, well, I think we have a really great understanding of the feature itself and kind of what the kind of an origin of this feature is. So now it's time for the fun part. Mufaddal, can you give us a live demo of Opportunity Explorer and show listeners what it can do?
Yes, I'd love to. Here we go.
Awesome.
All right, so this is Opportunity Explorer. The way that you're going to get to this is you're going to go into the new marketplace experience, make sure your new experience toggle is turned on, and then you'll see Opportunity Explorer in the left nav here. When you navigate to the left nav, we have 2 parts of Opportunity Explorer. The first is what we're calling this opportunity map, and the second is this opportunity list. What most people are going to do is probably they're going to say, hey, I'm doing a QBR right now for a customer, or I really want to help. I want to understand what's going on with this one specific customer. So you're going to start with a given customer. You could also just in general browse opportunities and figure out kind of what recommendations are being made at a certain point in time. But let's start with the customer view. So what you'd probably do is you'd say, okay, I want to focus on a given customer, and let's pick a customer here that would be interesting. So let's go after this guy. So 57. So you're going to say, I want to do, client 57, and this is a demo environment, so the names are a little bit interesting. You have client 57 here, so if you click on this guy, everything else will go away except for client 57, but I can just look at client 57 on the map because it's already in the center of my screen. So for client 57, you can click on the central node. That now gives you an overview of the client overall, and so you can see how much revenue he's been making, how many products he's been using, what percentage of seats are being sold on average for this client. So what that means is that we take any seat-based product, we'll take an average of that and say, hey, on average, you're selling about 58% of seats, which is pretty good, I think. We also have lots of security things incorporated. So one of the things that we are actively building out is our integration with CIS. And so for this client specifically, I can go in here and I can see, well, this client we were looking at has, there are 18 different CIS controls. You can see that this client has hit two of their controls, two of the subcontrols on control 9, and I think that's it for now. But what we believe is that, we think that there are other areas that you should be hitting for CS coverage. And so we've given you some recommendations there. So for control 2, I can expand this area and I can see, well, for subcontrol 2.3, addressing unauthorized software or utilizing automated software inventory tools, overall inventory and control software assets, there are a couple recommendations we're making here. And so those are the other nodes that are going to show up if I go back here in terms of the different recommendations. And these recommendations for security specifically are coming from this security solution that we've attached. For each client that you have, we're going to attach a good, better, best security solution based on the clients and some of their specifics about their industry, the number of customers they have, things like that. And then you can also look at the various products here that we have recommended, and those same products are also being shown on the map here. The other way to go and look at this is saying, hey, let's just kind of scroll through the recommendations that overall for this MSP or for this partner. So you can see that Microsoft Office 365, there's some cross-sell and some recommendations for 13 clients here that you have. What I'm going to focus on probably is Printex. And so Printex right now is being recommended for 17 of this partner's clients. And it's an add-on recommendation, meaning that I'll show you a little bit later, but like when you first click into the software or that recommendation, you'll see that here are the 17 clients that are being recommended this product. I can go into any one of these. Let's go into 53. And you'll see a little bit of description. You'll see kind of why we're recommending that product, because we think it integrates well with 365, and most clients need print driver management. And it's the base product this year. So if there is a base product or a required for this, we'll highlight that as well. We'll tell you kind of how much we think you can make if you sell this software based on 79 employees that this demo client 53 has. Some of the pricing information, and then we also show you competitive landscape. So based on the subcategory, so print driver management, there are kind of two players in this space, and we think Printex falls into that space. So all this is kind of data driven. And finally, what you'll have is learn and sell recommendations. And so what this is saying is, hey, we know that getting up to speed on a new product is difficult, but we wanted to make sure we can give you some recommendations in terms of here's all this Academy content we're producing, here's some relevant Academy content to take a look at, or just general Pax8 content to help you learn about this product in this category, but then also to sell this product in this category and sell this product to your MSP, or sorry, your end user. And then finally, we want to make sure that you can customize all this. So we're giving a bunch of recommendations, but these should be customizable for you, so you can remove and add and pin the things that you like. So what you do here is you'd go into any given product, and you can either for a given customer pin it or downvote it. And if you downvote it, it's completely gone from your recommendations. If you pin it, it's going to be at the top of your list. You can do that for the entire product. You can do that for a specific customer, or you could go back into that customer view and say, for these different products, I like these ones or I don't like these ones. So we would highly recommend you kind of go in there and really make this your own and customize this to your needs.
Exciting. Thank you so much for that, Mufaddal. That is super, super intuitive. It looks like client 57 is totally set up for success. So, I mean, I myself have had the chance to jump into Opportunity Explorer myself, and I must say, not only is the design breathtaking, but the possibilities are truly endless. I love specifically how it breaks down each opportunity and then even provides the reason behind the recommendation.
Yeah, and I think we had to do that because we knew that if we just made recommendations and said, hey, trust us, it's a black box, it wasn't going to work. I think that's why the reason why we've made these recommendations aren't just based on AI. It's based on a lot of business logic on top of AI and on top of some of the signals that you are generating and kind of what you're telling us in terms of where you want each client to be able to go. And so we are giving you recommendations with data and analysis to help back that recommendation, but then also the right content so that way you can learn about these recommendations and these products and then help you sell those products through other one-pagers and email copies and things like that as well.
Love it. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for that demo again. Before we wrap up, can you quickly give us a sneak peek into what Opportunity Explorer is going to bring us next? Any upcoming features that we should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is right now we're not doing a great job of integrating non-Pax8 data. So we would love to start integrating more non-Pax8 data, at the ability to add your own products that you're not buying from Pax8 into Opportunity Explorer and have those included in the recommendations, have those customizing that CIS landscape. So if you're buying a security product outside of Pax8, we'll let you add it, and then we'll show you here's now the updated CIS landscape for a given client. The second thing I would say is just better recommendations. So we're going to continuously improve those recommendations through new data and new things that we're looking at. The third thing is, this data, I think we believe is pretty valuable for partners. And so we don't want to just have this locked into our system. We want to be able to have you pull this data yourself via API, build this into your own integrations, and use this however you like. And I think the last thing is Opportunity Explorer is currently a recommendation engine for products, but we think it can be much more than that. There's lots of other things that we think we can help you recommend. So whether that be various content or integrations or features that you might not be using for different clients, we want all of that eventually to be part of Opportunity Explorer. So this really to be kind of your guide to how you should be using Pax8 and where the gaps are for you.
Amazing. Sounds like there's a ton to look forward to, so we'll stay tuned. But thank you so much for joining us today, Mufaddal. This has been an exciting conversation, and it's been a fantastic look into Opportunity Explorer and the value it brings to the Pax8 marketplace.
Yeah, very happy to be here, and hope you guys like it, and we're looking forward to your feedback.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. That's it for the Pax8 Marketplace segment. I'll pass it back to you, Kristen.
Awesome. Man, I learn something every month in these sessions. So big thank you to our marketplace team for going through that. And we love a live demo. So great stuff, great stuff. All right, we are moving on to our next segment. I am super excited to introduce George. I don't know if you've been a part of one of these, but you've been a part of a lot of our events. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, feel free to share your screen. I just have a placeholder, but
Sure.
We are excited to learn a little bit more.
Absolutely. 1 second. Let me go ahead and do that. And I will use everybody's time as wisely as I can. So for everyone, anyone doesn't know about BVoIP or myself, my name is George Bardisi. I'm founder and CEO of a company called BVoIP. We are exclusively for the IT and Managed Services channel, and I'm just going to take a few minutes of your time to show you how we integrate with your Microsoft investments and leverage that. If for any reason you want to copy this presentation at the end, you'll just be able to shoot a quick email over to info@bvoip.net, and we'll shoot you this. And of course, this is recorded as well. So real quick overview here. Let me see. Here we go. BVoIP. We're 10 years old. Started out of the IT and MSP industry. Sorry, I copied this deck from a couple different areas, but born out of an IT company. We have 11 areas that we help with. We work with over 3,000 IT and Managed Services globally. And then there are partners that choose to resell, and there's 21,000 plus accounts underneath of them, currently 43 employees, and happily so. So we are based here out of the US, but do run on a global footprint. And we are very, very, very integration focused. So if you have not just your Microsoft investment, but we have over 200 SaaS integrations, including probably some that you're using to run your IT and Managed Services business today. So if you see something on the screen that you're using today, then we can probably do something exciting that you probably didn't know existed. So here are the 11 areas that we have products for. Unified communications, contact center, messaging, both chat and SMS, MMS. Of course, the SaaS integrations to the 200 plus platforms. enhanced Microsoft Teams voice, which we'll talk about in a little while, on-call and alerting, think like PagerDuty Lite, artificial and business intelligence, going to try and leverage some of those Copilot credits that you guys just heard about earlier, identification, user verification, security thing that everybody should be doing, especially if you're helping do things like reset passwords, workforce management, and an outbound dialer messaging platform. And then lastly, the ability for our MSP partners to resell should you want to. So we offer all 11 products in 6 consumable SKUs. We modeled these after Microsoft, actually. So think business, basic, standard, premium, E1, E3, E5. Here are the 6 plans of BVoIP, which you can mix and match across your various users if you should take advantage. So real quick, and I'll just zoom through these so we can get to the Microsoft specific features. Phone system as a service, otherwise called unified communications. This is in addition to what will come out of the box, Teams Voice, contact center, which comes with a slew of other things like agents, supervisors, advanced call queuing, messaging, right? And just so many avenues here. One-to-one, one-to-many, SMS to email, in-app, and also integrated SMS and messaging into your PSA product. And then you have your again, 200 plus SaaS apps, 40 of which are the top MSP platform tools. We have a very, very, very strong Microsoft Teams Voice Direct Routing solution, which bring a ton of other features into the equation, which we'll go over in a moment. On-call and alert management. Again, every technology company that I've done business with has some requirement here. So we can help just not in 2 ways: from a customer escalation, I left a message, please give me a call back, I'm outside of hours, or maybe we need to alert someone that a critical alarm has triggered and somebody needs to pay attention, or automatically schedule your users in and out of the system so that you don't have to wait for a human being to log in or out. Of course, artificial and business intelligence, there's a whole black hole to go into here. A lot of this, which we cross-connect into the Microsoft ecosystem, which we'll talk about in a moment. Identifying your users via a message, an SMS, an email, a randomly generated code that ties back to your ticketing system, PSA tool, audit logged against the ticket that they're calling in about. Workforce management really works really well for larger organizations that have a lot of staff that need to be, scheduled out in advance, forecasted, and adhered to. And then an outbound dialer solution and messaging platform, which is meant for many use cases, sales, marketing, could be even outage notifications, something like that, but rapidly getting a hold of a list of people from your system. And then lastly is our resale program, which about 42% of our partners do take advantage of if they choose to resell this downstream to their end customers. So let's get right into the Microsoft integrated features that are worth mentioning. Single sign-on. We tie into Entra ID, so you can sign in not just as a partner, but as an end customer to any part of our platform. User synchronization from your 365 organization. So if you want to automatically create accounts or deactivate accounts based on people entering or leaving your organization, we can do that automatically. Calendar synchronization. So if your Outlook says that you're in a meeting right now, we can trigger things off of that and monitor your 365 calendar accordingly. And then we can take things like call recordings, voicemails, and archive them to your SharePoint account. So leveraging your Microsoft, investment there. And then we can also send out notifications via your 365 and Exchange Online using Graph API. So in another integration point there. So, of course, we can take all of those call recordings, should you turn on call recording in our platform, and point them into your SharePoint, which we mentioned before. Here's where we get into some of the BI aspect from a Microsoft Teams Voice Direct Routing standpoint. We can take all of your messaging and your call data using Graph API and begin to give you meaningful reports both in and out of our system. What does that mean? In our system, we have pre-canned reports, about a couple hundred of them, but you can also take this and drop it into Power BI, which we'll mention in a second. We can leverage Microsoft Teams voicemail and transcription. So even if you have Copilot turned on or not, the transcription part of voicemails are built into Teams, and we can leverage that for messages that you receive on our platform. Then we have SMS and MMS support. So we have an app that ties into your Entra ID in Microsoft, in Teams. So we can actually bring you messaging inside of Teams because we know the native Teams voice offering doesn't offer that at the moment. So we can bring that to you in both a queue or one-to-one standpoint. Of course, we bring all of our 200 plus PSA CRM ERP integrations to the table. So imagine tying in many tools across many parts of your organization or your end customers directly into Teams, so that you can actually track all of those customer integration points directly, or contact points directly into your system. Because if it's not in the system, then it didn't happen, right? We are soon launching two-way presence with Teams. So, if you do flip your team status, like I'm on Do Not Disturb right now, obviously we can react off of that on a two-way sync with our platform shortly. And then I mentioned earlier, you can take all of the data that we're able to tie into and then tie into templates for things like Power BI. Again, leveraging your Microsoft investment. So if you're on the kind of freebie version, Power BI desktop, or you can go into the App Fabric version, which is a little bit more advanced version, you can pull all this data, messaging, communications, recording, contact center, into your Power BI for analytics, so you can actually make business decisions. So that is the ability, and we've created templates so that you can literally just sign into your accounts and import them into your Azure or your Power BI environments. Of course, we can also just take all of our data and do something very simple. Dump it into your OneDrive, right? So if you'd rather take raw data, synchronize it to your OneDrive account, and then work with that type of data, kind of in a low cost, easy, simple format, we can do that too. Of course, we again mentioned the ability to, with voicemail messages and Teams Voice, transcribe, but we also have the ability to tie into Microsoft Azure Cognitive Services to do company-wide transcription and analysis. We're also going to be integrating this into Copilot, so you can leverage all those Copilot, freebies that they mentioned earlier and all those incentive programs. But if you're not using Copilot, you have the ability to use Azure Cognitive Services, which you can activate on any Azure account as well. And then you can turn on some of the advanced features like sentiment analysis and speech insights, analytics, and the ability to search for keywords and phrases, or flag a manager if a call maybe not going well and things are a little bit off the rails, so that you're not waiting to jump into that. You could actually be proactively notified about that. It also has an EPHI feature, which allows you to actually blank out any of the feature set, any of the customer created content or system created content that may have compliance related requirements where that data needs to be kind of like redacted. That is available as part of this Microsoft side integration as well. So of course, then the last part of this is Dynamics, which again, big part of the Microsoft ecosystem from an investment standpoint. So we have part of the 200 plus SaaS integrations is Dynamics CRM, but we are digging deeper every day into how we can tie into the various components of Dynamics, because there's multiple products underneath of that. So we're primarily tied into Microsoft Dynamics CRM. But we are working with things like Business Central and other parts of the Dynamics platform in our roadmap as well. So as you can see, heavy investment to leverage all of your Microsoft pieces so that you can double down on what you already have. So again, why BVoIP? MSP only. We work exclusively with the IT MSP channel. We are month to month, no minimums, 30-day opt-out. That's as easy as we can make it. There's not even an NCE requirement, right? 12 months. No, it's truly a month-to-month solution. And of course, we have built this in a multi-tenanted way that is secure, that leverages your Microsoft Entra for MFA, but locks into SSO as well. And then of course, it can be branded as your own. So at the end of the day, we built this for you, the IT and MSP community. It is literally purposely built for you. So we'd love the opportunity to see how this can be integrated into your organization. And then downstream, down the line, if there's an opportunity where you can leverage some of these pieces for your end customer, super, but you don't have to. So if you're interested in learning more, here's a meeting link where you can book some time with us. But if you want a copy of this presentation, a quick message over to info@bvoip.com. Just put in Pax8 presentation, and we'll send you a copy of this deck. So there it all is. I got it all done in literally 15 minutes. So thank you very much for your time, and hopefully you've learned a little bit about what we can do with your existing Microsoft investment.
Awesome. Thank you so much, George. I think that we covered a lot of content really quickly on that one. So I super, super appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. We are almost to the end, everybody. Thanks for hanging tight. I want to make sure that you all know that we have a Pax8 mission briefing that is coming up in Canada. So not too far away. Still a little bit of time to register, but want to make sure with everything we talked about today, security is going to continue to be top of mind with everybody. So you can expect to walk away from this event knowing, the best framework to actually go and sell security to your end clients. How do you leverage that Pax8 marketplace, which we had a great discussion on earlier today? How do you really build a internal cybersecurity practice? That's super, super important. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about Copilot there because it would hurt my heart if we didn't, but lots of good stuff to come from this mission briefing. So please attend if you are available. Now, Copilot enablement sessions. We've got a lot coming up in North America for Copilot enablement. We are going to be setting these up in other regions as well. So make sure you are keeping a lookout, but please make sure you register for these. They are going to fill up fast. Want to make sure that you get your spot locked in. And then Bandit, if you could also throw in to the chat where everybody can go and get registered for these, I think that would be great. So these are Copilot specific. This one right here is hands-on labs in general. So these, when you look at them, we're going from the Entra to Azure Arc to Defender for Cloud. These are kind of that broad spectrum, but you're actually going to get your hands on these keyboards. How are we actually learning together? These are free. So this will also fill up fast. Please make sure you take advantage of these. And then also give us feedback. We want to know, what are your favorite ones? What do you want to see more of? We really go through a different vendor to make sure that we can provide these to you. So if there's something you want to hear more of, please put it in the chat and we would love to get that scheduled. All right, we got some global events here. Beyond Berlin is coming up quick. I do hope to see some of you there. But we've got mission briefings, we've got launch briefings, we've got cybersecurity masterclasses happening all over the world. Shameless plug here. I'm really excited because Technically Unraveled, we've taken a new turn. So I've typically been your co-host of Technically Unraveled, but we've recently had David Powell join the Technically Unraveled team. So some weeks will be, specifically Microsoft focused. We'll dive right into some of the content and that deep understanding. But then we also have David Powell. And if you've not gotten a chance to meet him, I'm such a big fan. Nobody tell him that, but he has a really, really great understanding of cybersecurity and really just breaking it down so it just makes sense. So I'm looking forward to the collaboration between myself and David to really expand on all of the topics that you see on Technically Unraveled. We went through a lot. There's a lot of resources available from you, directly from Pax8, but also from Microsoft. I want to make sure that, as these come up, please make sure you register for them. If you can't attend live, you can always go to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pax8Cloud. You'll find Technically Unraveled, the game, Academy Live, as well as all of your Microsoft monthly updates and a lot more there. All right, I think we are almost to the end. Let's take a look and make sure if we have any other questions. I think we have answered most of these in the chat. Want to just double check. And then I do see one question in here. And George, are you still with us?
Oh, yes, I didn't go anywhere. I'm still here.
All right, good stuff. I did see a question come in that was asking if VoIP actually integrates into Salesforce.
We do. And Salesforce Lightning, right? So depending on which version of Salesforce, we got you covered.
Awesome. I appreciate you. All right, that one looks like a big yes. Other than that, looks like we've answered all of your questions. So I just want to say thank you so much for attending today. We look forward to seeing you next time. We'll see you next month. Bye, everybody.